Joseph Kursky here, your president for the National Council for Geographic Education for 2011. I'm very thankful to be representing the organization this year. We've got some tremendous challenges, but some tremendous opportunities ahead of us. I'm very humbled by this position. I realize that I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. Many of the past presidents of the NCGE, the National Council for Geographic Education, have mentored me over the years. I think of Jim Moran, Jan Smith, Christy Alvarez, Joe Stoltman, Gail Hobbs, and others that have been longtime colleagues and friends and have really showed me what it's like to be a leader of an organization that has a big vision but also cares about its members and cares about geography education a great deal. I recognize, though, that as president of any nonprofit organization, it's not just a one-person job. It's a team effort. We're all in this together, folks. We all have a passion, an interest, a lifelong desire to see geographic education, not just in the USA, but beyond, really nurtured, strengthened, supported, and put on a level where it needs to be to make a difference in education and society. So in this short video, I'd like to give you a little sense of where I'm from, where I'm coming from, what my background is, and what my vision is for the organization, and enlist your help in meeting our goals. Thanks.
I started off as most folks do, rather small. I was born in Wisconsin and moved to Colorado when I was 7. Here's me looking totally thrilled as a teenager. But one thing that was unique about my childhood is that this was my backyard. Yes, I was brought up in a motel. My parents owned and ran it, and living there put me in touch with people who traveled. My love of geography was born. The photographs I took as a child contain no people. They are filled with buildings from unique perspectives, landscapes, ordinary places to some, but all fascinating to me. My main recreational activity as a child was to make maps. Hand-drawn, mind you, but on huge sheets of poster board. They included street names, address ranges, sometimes contour lines. The freeway network was dense, perhaps because Grand Junction didn't have many freeways, but it was a fascinating landscape of sandstone, lava, cap rocks, rivers, and shale. While I am not advocating that all kids need to be making maps, I do maintain that everyone needs to have frequent and rich exposure to geography education, one that is high-tech, applied and theoretical, hands-on, and takes place inside a lab and out in the field. I went on to achieve 3 geography degrees, with an emphasis on geographic education, GIS, and population geography. I guess you could say I have a one-track mind. I served as geographer at the U.S. Census Bureau for 4 years, helping to build the Tiger system, the first nationwide street geodatabase, which became the basis for just about every online street mapping service we use today. I served as geographer at the U.S. Geological Survey for 17 years. One of the most exciting things about this was that I worked in the building housing the most maps in the world, over 30 million. I serve as Industry Education Curriculum Development Manager at Environmental Systems Research Institute, or ESRI, in Denver. ESRI is an organization devoted to helping people make good decisions throughout society using GIS, or Geographic Information Systems. ESRI is all about applying geographic thought and tools to our everyday lives. I have taught online and face-to-face courses at a variety of K-12 schools, community colleges, and universities, including Sintagleska University on the Rosebud Sioux Reservation in South Dakota. For the past 20 years, I have been involved with education in the following roles: creating geography and GIS-based curricula for a wide variety of audiences, but all tailored for education; supporting the implementation of GIS at all levels of society through technical, educational, and material support; nurturing educational partnerships; conducting workshops and participating in conferences each year, including science, geography, technology, and education conferences; and conducting research. My research interests focus on how and why teachers implement GIS and spatial thinking and analysis into their curricula, and how students learn with GIS, the effectiveness of GIS in teaching and learning. I love teaching. I enjoy working with people and meeting new people. I'm fascinated by people, places, environments, change over time, and a whole wide variety of things. I guess I'm naturally curious.
Okay, so you know a little bit more about me now, that I have this background in government service, different federal agencies, also in academia, higher education, K-12, some informal and after-school programs, also in private industry. So now that you know a little bit more about me, more importantly, let's talk about the organization. Let's talk about goals and visions. And also, while we're talking about that, I want you to think about what your vision and goals are for the organization, because it's your organization, right, folks? It's our organization together. And so if we want to see the NCGE in a year's time, in 2 years' time, in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, and when we retire, be the kind of organization that we want it to be, we need to start now, and you need to be thinking about what you want the organization to do, because it's not an organization where you can say, well, here are my plans and here are my goals, and they will do it. It's us. It's up to us to do it. So let's talk about that.
My vision for NCGE is that we nurture and support excellence in teaching and learning geography at all levels and in all venues of education. In so doing, we encourage and value our members and others in the geography education community personally and professionally. We provide professional development, scholarship, and curriculum development. We partner with other organizations to make a positive impact on teaching, learning, educational research, and educational policy. Specifically, 1. Thanks to the efforts of a small number of dedicated individuals, the updated National Geography Standards will be published in 2011. Our organization needs to publicize and use these standards. Number 2. Did you know that over 67,000 students took the AP Human Geography exam in 2010? This was up from just 3,000 9 years ago. One of our 2 focal points in 2011 is AP Human Geography. The educators who teach AP Human Geography are a prime audience that we can work with to meet their needs. 3. The other of the 2 focal points that I have for this organization is environmental education. Geography was green before green was cool. Environmental education is poised to become the next big thing in education, and we would be wise to work more closely with educational colleagues in that field, beginning with work we have started and planned with the North American Environmental Education Association. Our theme for this year's conference is Go Green with Geography, fitting also for our venue in Portland, Oregon. Number 4, in terms of professional development, I see tremendous needs, particularly with pre-service educators and in terms of physical geography. We started a webinar series in 2010, and I encourage you to participate in these webinars, volunteer to teach a webinar, and tell your colleagues about the webinar series. Number 5, another area of growth is closer ties with other key organizations. The Geographic Alliance coordinators and leaders in the states are one group. National Geographic is another. The NCSS, the National Council for the Social Studies, is another. Sister organizations around the world are another, and I plan to start with the Geographical Association in the UK. Number 6, bigger is not necessarily better in all things, but the NCGE's financial position would be strengthened by an increase in the number of its members. We have about 1,200 right now. I would like to provide more support for our central office staff, Zach Dooley and Jacqueline Waite, and eventually to be in a position where we can hire an executive director, even part-time. Through fresh new content, the webinar series is another way to attract new members, through the live presentations and the library of recorded content that we are building. Number 7, as never before, the general public are engaging in geographic education in terms of outdoor education and using geographic tools such as GPS and smartphones. In conjunction with this, we can work with National 4-H and other informal educational groups that can be strong allies. Number 8, we are involved with a number of new initiatives that will bring strength
diversity, and partnerships to our organization. These include work through an NSF-funded project with National Geographic and the Association of American Geographers to create a core set of documents that define geographic literacy, why it matters, and what needs to be done about it. Internally, we have a new marketing and communications task force and a webinar task force. I'm quite excited about the future of NCGE. Folks, I encourage you to consider attending the 2011 annual conference in Portland. It is in the summer, and it presents wonderful opportunities for you to explore, learn, and bring your families. I count on all of you to tell your colleagues about this event. Thanks. Folks, more could be said, but to close, I am writing a What is Geography Twitter post every day this year. Look for these on the NCGE Twitter page, NCGE 1915, and also on my own Twitter page, Joseph Kursky, no spaces. I am also creating a Geography is ... short video each month. Look for these on the NCGE webpage and on my YouTube channel, Geography über alles. But much more important than what I say is what you say. What is your top priority or priorities for our organization? I seek an open communication amongst our members. This is one of the reasons why organizations like ours exist, to spark ideas through collaboration and communication. Folks, I admire the work that each of you is doing. Education is not for the faint-hearted. You are making a difference, not only in your students' lives, but throughout the educational community. Your shock waves are being felt throughout society. I look forward to hearing from you. One of the great things about the National Council for Geographic Education that you hear from all of its members, and I've personally experienced, is that, yes, we have big visions and big dreams. However, it is also an organization that cares about its members. It cares about its people. It's a very caring, nurturing kind of an organization, professionally and personally. I know many people at the NCGE that they've met and maintained lifelong friends at that organization. So it's something that's you really need to be a member to experience. You need to join the organization and experience it. So if you're not a member right now, I encourage you to be one. And those of you that are members, I encourage you to reach out to others and invite them into the family. So folks, thanks again for allowing me to serve with you in the National Council for Geographic Education. We have some tremendous challenges, no doubt, for education as a whole, for geography education, globally, USA, and locally. We know what those challenges are, but knowing those challenges, we can meet those challenges. And I really do believe that the best days for us as an organization, despite the fact that we've been around for nearly 100 years, lie ahead of us. So together, let's go make those big visions, those big dreams, a reality. Joseph Kursky here from the National Council for Geographic Education. We've got a car in the distance, so we're going to pause. I'll start over. Joseph Kursky here, 2011 President. Joseph Kursky here, 2011 President, National Council for Geographic Education. Thanks for the opportunity to serve as your President. I do believe that our best days lie ahead of us. So let's...